Hey everyone, my name is Desirae Moreno and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited to finally share my story with everyone. My story is based on how I developed anxiety and later on led to depression. However, the main purpose of my story is to acknowledge those who suffer from anxiety and depression and to let them know that they are not alone. Before I get into my story, I want to talk about mental health. You see, back then, I didn't know what the importance of mental health was. I didn't know what anxiety and depression meant. I lived a very free life, and the thought of having an anxiety attack never crossed my mind. It wasn't until I had my first attack that I learned I control my own thoughts and my emotions. Okay, now let's get into my story. In the summer of 2015, I was in my last summer session as an undergrad student. I was on my way to the bank after school, and my body started feeling very fatigued while I was driving. I didn't think of anything. I just thought I needed some food because I barely ate that day. As I got to the bank, I realized my body started trembling and feeling even more fatigued, so I wasn't feeling any better at all. I drove off once I left, and my heart started beating super fast, and I felt so weak. So in my head, I'm thinking, I need some sugar, some potassium. So as I'm leaving, I stop at the gas station because I realize I can't drive to my grandma's. As soon as I stop at a gas station, I go straight to the bananas and I just start eating these bananas like crazy, you guys. Without even paying. I'm just eating them. Customers are staring at me. And when I'm done eating them, of course I pay and I tell the clerk, I'm sorry, but my sugar is low. So I exit out of the gas station and I remember calling family members and no one was answering. So I had no idea what was going on with me. I really thought I just needed some food in my system because that's happened to me before and food just always makes me feel better. And that was not the case. I was literally on the sidewalk floor, looking up at the sky and just thinking, what is happening? What do I do? I remember the thought of me dying alone crossed my head because I just had no clue what was happening to me. And something told me, call EMS, Desirae, call EMS. So I called EMS. The firefighters came. And they checked my vitals and my blood pressure was at 170. My blood pressure has never been that high before. And the chief told me that I could have had a stroke. They asked for my age and what I did for a living and anything that causes me stress. If I had diabetes, whatever, I don't have diabetes. I'm no high cholesterol, no nothing. I've always been active. And once I told them about my personal life, like in school, work, this and that, they told me that could have caused my anxiety. Thankfully, the firefighters, they put me in their truck and they took me to my grandma's down the street and they were cheering me up in the fire truck. And that's when they told me, I started learning about anxiety because I've never had an anxiety attack. So when they told me I had an anxiety attack, I'm like, well, what is that? And, and the firefighter told me it's all psychological. I still didn't understand what that meant. And when I got to my grandma's, my grandma, she's like a 4'11", Mexican woman. And she's like freaking out in Spanish, like, what's going on? And the firefighters had to tell her what happened. And I go and lie down on a bed in my grandma's. And at this point, my family knows what's going on. My mom's driving in from Austin because she found out that my blood pressure was at 170, and she wanted me to go to the hospital, this and that, whatever. So I'm lying down trying to rest, and I can't rest. My blood pressure is so high that I have to go urinate like so many times. And I didn't know how to control it. So the firefighters came again because I started feeling the symptoms again, and I just did not know what to do. I felt so lost. And, I finally, once they come the second time, I don't know, it just finally kind of goes away. I have no appetite. And I'm able to get a little bit of energy and drive back home. So as I'm driving back home, to me, I'm fine. I'm okay. Just going to be how I've always been. And it didn't affect me. It didn't affect me for like, I'd have to say a few weeks, maybe a couple of months. I was myself. I was driving everywhere. Full-time college student, working. I was in a relationship that time. And I was a very busy woman. I was 22 years old when I had my first attack. And I was about to graduate that December of 2015. So I had a lot of stuff going on. But I didn't realize how it affected me mentally. It drained me and it overwhelmed me. And I didn't know how to control it back then. As time went on, I developed a minor case of PTSD. Now, when I say minor or mild case of PTSD, I mean it wasn't too severe, but I couldn't drive for about a year. And I would get so shaky, trembling. My palms would be sweating. My heart would be racing. If I drove through narrow areas, or knowing that I was alone, going through dark places or areas I didn't know. I remember I had to pull off, I pulled off the highway twice, and I suffered 2 more anxiety attacks by myself. And that's very emotional. It's hard, but as I continue throughout this series, I'm going to show how strong I've become. Now back to my case. Having that PTSD and just finding out and knowing that I control my own thoughts, it blew my mind. I mean, my whole perspective changed. My whole mentality changed. I became scared of everything. I became so negative, and it ruined a lot of stuff in my life. It affected me with family relationships. It affected me with my previous relationship. It affected me towards what I want to accomplish in life, my dreams, my goals. Having a negative mentality, developing that from anxiety, which led to depression, all this negativity, it affected my whole life. And over time, I realized I let it affect my whole life. Once I realized I wasn't who I used to be, and I let this anxiety and depression take a toll on me and make me someone who I wasn't, I knew I had to do something about it. And I did. But I'm going to go into that in my next video, which are going to be coping strategies. However, I do want to say that going through anxiety and depression did lead me to my purpose, which is right now, which is talking to you guys about my experience and now wanting to help others who go through this or who go through other mental illnesses that they feel like they can't control, but in reality they can. And there are so many outlets, healthy outlets out there that you can use. And I took this anxiety and depression as a blessing in disguise because it led me back to go to grad school and get my master's degree. And I started learning about psychology. I wanted to learn about behaviors, moods, triggers. I wanted to learn about all that stuff. And and I have to say it's been a life-changing experience. And I'm not saying I don't go through it anymore, because I do, but now I know how to control it. And that's why I'm here. I want to be a life coach. It made me find my purpose to do what I want to do for a living. I hold my undergrad degree in broadcast journalism, which what I'm doing right now. I love doing this. It's therapy for me. But I want to be therapeutic for other people too. I got my associate's, my bachelor's degree in broadcast journalism. I love writing. I love being on camera. I love photography. Art is great. I love to express myself, as you guys can tell. That's why I'm here talking on camera. I can talk to my camera like it's my best friend. And I'm about to get a master's degree in December in kinesiology, and I'm very proud of myself because was and am able to learn about myself throughout this process, how to help myself, but not only that, but how to help others, how to reach out to others, how helping others makes me feel so good inside, and it helps me cope with so much in life. And that's what I want to teach to everyone out there. I want everyone to know that there are helping hands out there. And I know I can inspire people and make an impact on other lives. I know what it's like for others to judge you as crazy, psycho, all that stuff. I've been bullied before. I was bullied since the age of 4. But that's a whole nother story. But I can relate to many others who have been criticized and have been told mean things just because they've gone through a mental illness or any sickness, any disability. It doesn't matter. And I want people to know that I'm here. I'm here, and I'm going to make a difference. So as I mentioned my credentials, no, I'm not a doctor, nor am I a professional yet. I'm a hardworking grad student who's pursuing to become a life coach, and my mission is to help and save lives. I really hope you guys enjoyed my first video. It's pretty simple and short. However, the next few videos are going to go into more detail and interesting facts and things I've been through and have learned based on my own personal experience, studies, and what I've learned in school. So stay tuned and please subscribe to my YouTube channel at Desirae. My Facebook is under Desirae Moreno, which I do need to create a like page. So I will be doing that too. And I have an Instagram account under Desirae, Ayyyee. I'll put it under my YouTube account.